Hey everybody, so it has been a rough 24 hours for Jon David. After I made the video last night and posted it, in the early morning hours, he was kind of on the struggle bus and he was irritable. He ended up getting acidotic, and I'll explain what that is here in a second. But he got really bad about 6:45 a.m. and ended up getting paralyzed and increased his vent supports to a large amount, and they pretty much captured him. So that's the good news. Now, if you're wondering what I mean by acidotic, you can look at these two different blood gases, and basically it's his PCO2, his pH, his bicarb, and his base excess. Those are the things that kind of help determine whether or not he's acidotic. And his heart does not like acidosis. None of our hearts do. And so we really, really don't like it when he gets acidotic. And it usually happens when he's having some kind of poor gas exchange in his lungs or some type of really crazy metabolic demand where he's under a lot of stress. Excuse me. And that's kind of what has happened to him twice now today. So once they kind of got him stabilized this morning after about 6:45 when he had his episode, and you saw right there in the blood gas, you could look at the time if you wanted to. It was like, he got down to like 7.25 or something and had a really high CO2 at like 76. They paralyzed him, so they put him back on paralytic. They put him on really increased ventilator supports, almost pretty much to the max of what the protocol is. And then he kind of rebounded, got stabilized throughout the day. They increased his sedation by a lot. And then kind of rode throughout the day. Everything was all right. And then we got to this evening, and he had about 3 hours where he was in a really bad spot. He got like mad. Heart rate was up around 200. Stayed in the 190s consistently for hours. I think it was almost 3 hours total. His MAPs were between 90 and 100, which for his age range is incredibly high. And so it was a long 3 hours. He got acidotic again, and he started building a lactate, which was really scary, because a lactate is typically when you start seeing them go into things like cardiac arrest. And so, again, it was just not a good day. It was a rough day. But throughout the day, some things that they did, because they were trying to cover their bases and try and figure out why he's becoming acidotic like this and why he just seems to be having these issues, because his x-rays have been looking wetter, meaning that there's more blood and more fluid in his lungs. He's having some pulmonary edema. They did 3 EKGs because his rhythm was looking really funky, which every time it checked out, everything was fine. They also did some cultures of his blood, his respiratory, so his lungs, and then they all came back negative so far, also viral cultures. They did an echo, and everything pretty much checked out the same as yesterday. And so from that standpoint, he seems to be checking out on all the tests. So basically, it's just getting ready for CAF tomorrow and seeing if maybe that can shed any more light on all this. But that has been our day with Jon David. It's been a very long day. It's been a very emotional roller coaster day. You know, we've taken 3 or 4 steps forward over the last week, and then today basically took like 5 steps back. So very, very tough, but we're still on the road. So now, that being said, one of the reasons why this evening was so rough and it took so long, is because he had 2 peripheral IVs that were in, one was in his left arm, and one was in his left leg. And they were both leaking, and they were where his sedation was going in. And so he was having a hard time getting settled down because he wasn't getting the full sedation. And so then we had to replace that in the middle of all this. And so he was absolutely ticked. And that just didn't set things up real well. And in the middle of all that, it was kind of, bedtime for Hunter, and he called. And that was one of the things that was rough, was Hunter calling. And we're very blessed for him to be able to be away from this. He has been exposed to it some with the ambulance ride back here, with being here last Friday when he coded, because we thought we were going to be having him come in and be extubated, and Hunter being able to spend time with Jon David. And so calling tonight, he called to tell me that he made blueberry cobbler and was eating it. And I was, telling him I was so proud of him, but that was all in the midst of Jon David having heart rates in the 190s and having MAPs, around 100, and just being in a really bad spot and trending in a bad way. And, the thing that kind of broke me is he looked at me, he's like, "Daddy, why are you upset?" Because I wasn't holding it together all that well. And again, it is a blessing that he can be away from this and still be a 3-year-old, and that he has people like Mimi and Papa, and there are a lot of people who help look after him. And so we are very blessed to have him here. Speaking of being blessed and having people here, Mama Kay, it was her birthday today. So happy birthday, Mama Kay. I'm sorry that it was not a very relaxing or necessarily a good birthday. Jon David had his temper tantrums today, his episodes, and but Mama Kay came up here and stayed with us all day and allowed me to go to sleep because I did not sleep all, through the night. And then woke up this evening, and then he was throwing this fit, and so she stayed here until he settled down, and it was very nice of her to come and stay up here. I know it's her grandson, but she also came up here and gave me the ability to just take a nap while she watched him, because that's one of the things we want somebody to be there with him and to kind of be involved with what's going on. Now, that being said, Hunter did have a good day. He had fun at church with Aaron and Gatlin, and then went out and spent some time with Kinley and Cameron, and actually went around a horse, which is probably the first horse he's really been around quite a bit since October when he got kicked in the face by one. We've been trying to, slowly ease him back into it, and apparently hanging out with Kinley and Cameron was what he needed to go back and see one and have a good time. And also, I already said it earlier, but he made some blueberry cobbler, like Grampy, who I'm assuming he got the recipe from. He was very proud of himself, and you'll see that in the video here in a little bit. And Mimi actually made a post that I think was very appropriate. It's from Psalm 46:10 about be still and know that I am God, and us having all this worry and anxiety, especially over the situation here with Jon David. And also for me, I love to hunt and fish and be outside, and I think I've passed that on to Hunter. I'm sure y'all kind of seen that in these videos. But one of the things that I really enjoy about being outdoors is just kind of the beauty that you find in it and the complexity, and just kind of, at least in my opinion, how it looks like there's no way this could have happened without a design. And so she actually made a post with some pictures of the sunset there at the lake, which is beautiful. And I am missing because I have not been back for a while. But it is, I think, a very appropriate message of be still and know that I am God, and handing it over to him. And that can be very difficult, but it is a conscious decision that we have to make and pray for. And on that same note, I had a heart dad who had sent me a message actually before all of the episodes started, and I had not actually got a chance to see it until after the episode last night, getting ready to go back to sleep this morning at like 10 a.m. But I told him, I was like, for me, that was kind of a God sign that message was there for me when I got done with all this. And it was, he had sent me a verse that he said made him think of me and sent it to me, but it was Jeremiah 17:7-8, which said, blessed is the man whose trust is in the Lord, whose trust is the Lord, for he is like a tree planted by the water, whose roots run to the stream, and is not anxious when the heat comes, for its leaves are green, and does not fear the drought, because it does not cease producing fruit. I paraphrase there. I'm sure it's not exactly every word. However, to me, it was very much the essence of what I needed to hear in that moment, which goes back to the same thing that Mimi had posted, which is very much just kind of have to hand your anxiety over to the Lord and pray about it, because I will speak for pretty much everybody who's in this situation. These situations are too big to handle on your own. And again, we are very blessed just by our faith and also our community and the friends that we've made through this, that we are able to take this on together. And it's not by our lonesome, because by ourselves, we definitely would not be able to handle this. So if y'all would pray for these three things: one, that he will stay stable and that they will be able to get fluid off of his lungs, that the calf tomorrow will give us some answers, or at the very least just some clarity about the path going forward and kind of what we need to do to make sure that he is in the best spot to move forward. And then also for all of the kiddos and families who are battling CHD, because again, this is up here, this is not an uncommon story. This is not an uncommon path. Things are complicated. You go, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Like, it's a constant emotional roller coaster. There are people who have been here for months. I think the longest family we've seen here has been here for almost a year. This is not an uncommon story on this floor. It's an uncommon story out in the world. But please pray for these families because they need it. There are a lot of challenges that get faced, and then there are outcomes that are undesirable, and there are challenges that all of us face up here. So again, please pray for these kiddos, pray for their families. And today was very much a Choose Hope Daily day. Hope y'all continue to choose hope daily, and I hope y'all have a good night and God bless. We'll see you tomorrow. David, tell everybody bye-bye.